All right, so I'm here with Coach Garcia, who's the head coach at the University of Central Missouri. You previously worked at Baker and transferred over to here to be the coach.
Yep.
What was your main reason for UCM?
Well, I think there's a lot of similarities to my journey, right? You look at kind of the experience you have and what made it exceptional and people that are involved in that. I wrestled Division II, and I was fortunate to be a part of a really good program. We won, the 5 national titles in the 7 years I was there, either as an athlete or as a coach. So that familiarity was nice. And I think, I enjoyed my time at a smaller school. I think I learned a lot about kind of the recruiting process, and some kids, I think they do gravitate towards some of those things, but ultimately this is probably a situation that I can relate to a little more. Going back to Division II, like I said, being at a state school, obviously a lot more cost effective, and a lot more resources. I think you look around campus, you can create a game day experience here. You can have a lot of the resources that maybe you might not be able to have at a smaller school, but it's not an overwhelming size here, which is nice. And then, why here, I guess, too, that's my parents both went to school here. My dad was the first national champ back in 1982. When you have that legacy component of it, I think that added some value as well.
Yeah, I saw that on the website that your dad wrestled here.
Yep.
Did he talking in your ear about it a little bit, trying to get you to do it?
Even my recruiting process when I was in high school, he did a great job of kind of allowing me to have ownership in my decisions. And same thing, honestly, I came on, it's earlier in the year, they'd asked me a couple times about applying, and I didn't. I was like, well, I think this is kind of where I'm being called to be, so I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing. I didn't have any intentions of leaving at that moment. But the more I had people come to me, and it's always been, I've always looked at this place as like, man, this is kind of a diamond in the rough, sleeping giant type deal. So when I did come on a visit, I think I told him on my way up, and then I called him and a few other people on my way back, and it was one of those things like, I don't know how I could say no to this. And I don't know what anybody else could say to, it's going to be the hardest no-brainer decision ever, because it's tough because you're leaving a team and people you care about and guys you've recruited, girls you've recruited, right? That makes any transition, kind of tough. But again, you look at, how can I be the best steward of the gifts I've been given and really, use those resources the best way I can. This is definitely a university that I feel like I can do that.
Yeah. So season starts Friday?
We'll go Saturday.
Saturday, okay. What's some goals for this upcoming season?
Like as a coach, I don't make a whole lot of goals. I think guys probably, they have aspirations and goals, things that maybe that they can pinpoint. But, I'm a lot more probably into just kind of the development piece of it and how do we get better each day, right? So those are the things that I kind of focus on, maybe not outcome goals. But I think it's fair to say we have a lot of guys in here that have some outcome goals of being, on the podium at the end of the year. It was a school that has never had a top 10 national tournament. We've had some great teams and some great people come through here that made tremendous impacts on the sport of wrestling as coaches. But for whatever reason, right, we haven't broke into the top 10. I think that's something that these guys are well aware of. They kind of want to, make their mark by being one of those teams. And I think we do. We have some guys that can score some points in the national tournament. And we've got a really good dual lineup, I think. That's one thing. We're young, so we're going to keep getting better. But even as young as we are, we still have good depth and some guys that can compete at every weight class.
So you said you guys are pretty young. You guys had a big recruitment class just come in this year.
Yeah.
Who are some of the new guys that are really standing out?
Oh man, it's tough to pinpoint. Again, we got 54 guys on the roster. So there's a lot of guys. Probably a little bigger than we anticipated, but we just got a lot of momentum and energy right now. So there's a lot of people that want to be a part of this. I think with injuries and things that happen, right, we're probably more like 45 most of the time, and that's a healthy number. Obviously, we got the space for it in the room. But really, the last 2 recruiting classes, I came on late in May, so I had about a month and a half to recruit that first cycle, and we brought on about 20. And then, we were almost at that number again last year. But it's good to see, a lot of these guys coming through. They're having success right away. We had wrestle-offs last week. We had some incoming freshmen win matches, right? And we got some guys that are already, showing that they can maybe be guys in the future. Most of the guys coming in will probably red shirt. But there might be a couple individuals that will step up right away.
So as of today, you had 2 guys that were both ranked number 8, one of them being a returning national qualifier. How's it feel to get those rankings?
I think it's always good to create visibility from your program standpoint. As far as in the room, do we care that much? Probably not. But I think it's important to showcase the work they've done, and that's just an example of the things that they've done in the past. I think they're more looking forward to what they have in front of them. And again, it's good. We've kind of rebranded, right? We're trying to create visibility and excitement for the program, and rankings are part of that. And I truly believe probably this will be, the least amount of guys we'll have ranked all year. I think we got some other guys in the room right now that within the month, they're going to be some guys that's going to get them some recognition within the country.
You said 54 guys on the roster. A lot of those guys coming back from last year that were all on the team.
Yep.
Name a few of them that have really taken over the leadership role this year.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even do captains usually because I want everybody to have a chance to be leaders. We do have, we're working on kind of a leadership council. I think there's a lot of guys that have stepped up, right, in different ways. You got like a Trent Strong that Trent and Joel both run our study hall, and that's a lot of responsibility. We kind of put it, on the team to say, hey, we need to have better representation, when it comes to GPA as a team. So those guys have kind of stepped up. They've said, hey, what about this? What can we do with this? And more guys that just come and say, hey, what can I do to help be a part of something greater than myself? Those guys have done a great job with that. You look at, obviously John Rydell and Tommy Freza, they lead because, man, they've been there, they've done those type of things. So those guys, kind of their work ethic and their standard of expectations, I think that leads the way. You look at the summer, we probably had 10 to 15 guys coming in consistently, right? Those are guys that are, I think the Dillos both were driving 2 hours, Tennyson's driving 2 hours. Guys that were really consistent. Damon Ashworth, another one that I think people are going to go, okay, man, this guy's, it's going to look like he came out of nowhere, but man, he's, put in a lot of work last year as a guy that couldn't compete. He was coming off a JUCO transfer, and now, he can be eligible this year, and I think he's going to make a name for himself pretty soon.
Yeah. New facility, new room, not even a year old yet. What are some of your favorite aspects of the new facility? The size of it. It's a pretty big room.
Yeah. So we got essentially 3.5, about 6,000 square feet. So plenty of room. But I think this is my favorite part of the fact that there's one guy in there right now. We've had guys throughout the day. Just that ability for them to come in whenever they need to, and being able to sit right here at the office that overlooks the room. I can sneak out there kind of whenever I need to. But that's the biggest thing. You have to anymore, show that there's support within a program, right? You can walk somebody out and say, hey, this is the proof that we have administrative support. We got a room, we got facilities, we got the coaching staff, we got all these things. And from a recruiting standpoint, that goes a long ways. And kind of who you're with is more important than what you have, but we are very blessed to have a good setup.
Yeah. Care if we take a look at it now?
Yeah, we can check it out.
All right.
So I was telling you, that we have the 3 45 by 45 mats in here, which again, typical mats are 40 by 40 or 42 by 42. So it almost equates to about 3.5 mats. The unique part of this room, probably more than anything, though, is you got natural light coming through. There's a lot of wrestling rooms. That
big windows in this room.
Yeah, high ceiling. Again, you used to being in dungeons with wrestling rooms.
Yeah.
Here, you kind of have that space, and I think it makes a difference. You talk about aesthetics a lot, but just that peace of mind and that. If you're going to spend as much time and energy in here as you do, I think it has to be a welcoming thing. Kind of throughout the whole thing, the branding of it, even up top, we have admin offices up top so they can come and look whenever. We're kind of winning the fans over that way too. We'll have people that stay up top and do their homework or eat lunch, get a chance to look down and see some guys scrapping. Obviously, you got the coaching offices and all those things. A lot of resources.
Looks like it kind of wraps around all the way for more people to, I guess, just peek into the room, get a look at what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So that's initially, we weren't going to cover any windows, and then we decided to cover some of them. You can kind of see the graphics at night. You can see this
Yeah.
a little better. Wanted to keep that one open. The rest of them, we didn't want to feel like we were in a fishbowl too much, so got all the branding up all the way around.